Hey y'all, if your barge rafters or fascia boards look like this, then this video is definitely for you. I'm going to show you how to replace them yourself and save hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Stick around. Step number 1. You're going to carefully remove the corner tiles and be extremely ginger with them because they can be very fragile. The key to removing these tiles without breaking them is to get your hammer or a pry bar underneath the nail and slowly remove it. If you can't get under the head of the nail, you can carefully pry on the back side of the tile just enough to be able to get underneath the nail on the front side. You will also want to start with a tile that is at the highest point that you are removing and work your way down. This will expose the hidden nails as you go and make your job much easier and less likely to break any of the tiles. It's better to take your time and spend an extra 5 minutes removing them than it is to hunt one of these bad boys down to replace it. Now, using a cat's paw, no, not that kind, you weirdo, this kind. Start removing the nails from the fascia. Keep in mind that there are also nails coming down through the sheeting, but we'll deal with those later. So here's a pro tip. If you have a nail that's being a real jerk and doesn't want to come out, just use your hammer and rock it back and forth a little bit, and eventually you'll just pull that nail right out. Next, using your trusty flat bar, drive it in between the sheeting and your fascia board, being careful not to damage the sheeting while doing it. Then, gently pry the fascia board down and away from the roof sheeting. Then you can pry out the old nails and clean up the edge and getting it ready to put back together. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. If you don't know how to figure out the angles to cut your new board, then you can simply trace out the old one like I'm showing you here. However, if you want to know how to figure out those angles, I made another video and I have it linked in the description for you. Next, start a couple of 3.5-inch screws in your barge rafter. Hold the whole thing in place and run in the screws. Or use your drill if you want to, I don't care. After all the 3.5-inch screws are in, go back through the sheeting and run in some 1.5 or 1 5/8 screws to hold the sheeting down to your new barge rafter. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and slide some 30-pound felt paper underneath the old felt. And it has to go under it. Don't try and put it on top or you're going to have problems. So once you have it tucked underneath, like that cheat sheet in your pocket in school, go ahead and staple it down and start installing your corner tiles, starting at the bottom and working yourself up to the top. Now you have to be super careful to make sure that your hammer only hits your nail and you don't bust out one of these tiles, because it will, and it sucks when you do it. Make sure when you're driving these nails in that you don't run them in too tight, because you need to leave enough room for these things to expand and contract, otherwise they can crack. Last but not least, use some polybutylene that you can find at Home Depot to seal around the seams. That is, of course, if you have tile like this coming together at different angles. If you don't have a corner like this, then you can skip this step because you don't need it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.